I'm Bronwyn Ayres. Welcome to my podcast for young performers, ONAIRES. I'll be interviewing a range of people at all stages in their careers in the creative arts industry. I want to draw out insights and stories that will inform, inspire, and encourage young performers to reach their dreams and aspirations. I am so excited to interview today the wonderful and swashbuckling Gemma Hunt. Gemma has presented a huge variety of shows and has hundreds of live hours of TV experience presenting magazine shows, links, and hosting coverage from live events. Straight after uni, she joined CBBC, and then Gemma, or many may call her Gem, presented the hit and BAFTA award-winning CBeebies pirate game show series Swashbuckle. Gemma has also performed in multiple fantastic pantomimes across the country like Tinkerbell, Peter Pan, Dick Wittington, Aladdin and Cinderella. Gemma has also travelled the world helping to present and film the worldwide spread course Alpha, a series of sessions exploring the basics of Christian faith. Gemma has also written her own book series called See Let's Be, releasing one of them recently this year. I cannot wait to discover and explore more about what Gemma has been up to. Gemma, welcome to the show. You are on airs.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
I'm honestly so excited to have you on here. I, from a very young age, have been a pirate loving fan of you because I just think you're awesome. I was just doing all the arm hearties when we watched it. My sister and I, big fans.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. And you could still watch it now, even though it's on
Yes,
CBeebies. You can still watch it. It's all right. I won't
of
tell anyone.
course. Absolutely, of course. You know what? Tonight, I think I'm gonna enjoy. It was just the most exciting thing. It is the most exciting thing. Just watching all the jewels, I quickly get them. It was my dream to be on it. But now I'm talking to you, well, in person, but kind of virtually. But it's surreal. It's amazing. So I kind of gave a little bit about what you had done and your background, but would you be able to dig a little bit more about your experience and what you've been up to recently, perhaps?
Yeah, so I've been working in TV now for the last 20 years. I started working at CBBC, like you said, on Independence Day 2003. So I've just celebrated 20 years in telly, which is really cool. And I
Oh
came
my
fresh out of
gosh.
uni. I did a media performance degree at the University of Bedfordshire, and I previously to that had done my A levels and GCSEs. And I kind of chose lots of courses that were media based, so drama, performing arts, that kind of thing. And then doing media performance at university actually helped me to meet an agent, and an agent got me an interview at CBBC, and that was back
Oh
in
my
yeah
gosh.
2003. So I've been very fortunate to be able to work in telly for that many years, without doing any other kind of job. Really, I haven't had to change careers at all. I've been very blessed to be able to do this wonderful career. And listening to you read out all the things that I've done, I think, crikey, I've done so much, and I have forgotten about some of them as well. And some of the things that I've done that, like you say, have been international, like Alpha, and it's just been so cool to do so many great things and meet so many wonderful people. And that's still happening now. So I've just finished working on the CBeebies Christmas Panto. We filmed it in Llandudno in North Wales, and it's going to go out on BBC One, on CBeebies, on iPlayer, and at the cinemas this Christmas. So it's really fun that I still get to do some incredible jobs, and I am still loving my career.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. And the fact it's going into cinemas as well. And you've been able to, like you said, travel the world, like with the Alpha course, absolutely amazing. And then to all these like fun pantomimes and literally just get to have loads of fun, like singing songs and like working on shows. And oh my gosh, that must have been honestly so much fun. Um, yeah, and what would you say has been out of those, because you've done so much and celebrating 20 years, that is so exciting. And not being able, like, not really having that many breaks actually, because that's quite unusual because yeah, a lot of actors they'd say, "Oh, I'd have a kind of a break," or there'd be kind of a dead area of like no jobs coming my way. But that's so great that you've kind of been able to keep going with it. What would you say is a project or kind of a show that you've most enjoyed being a part of?
Well, obviously Swashbuckle, and I can see that you've got the scarlet squid behind you there,
Yeah,
Bron. I'm
I
impressed.
was about to say actually, I forgot to mention this. The
You have more
background
clarity than
is
I do.
well,
Pirate stripes on the scarf you. I've just got boxes and a fake plant behind me.
I just thought, you know what? I might as well have this awesome background because look at this set. Just look at it.
Yeah.
It's just
It's
the
amazing,
trees.
and the
It's just
set is actually a soft play. So when they were developing the idea, they actually went around numerous soft play centres to see what works for kids. And so the entire set is built for children in a soft play. So when, as an adult and as the height of an adult, you go up there, you realise that it's not built for you. And so you squeeze through things, and you kind of have to go through doors that are really small, and the balustrades are really low down, so you have to be quite careful that you don't topple over when you're obviously up there as an adult. But I think working
yeah.
on Swashbuckle has just been such a highlight for my career. um, we've done 8 series. I've had 3 captains. I've had 4 different pirates, and I'm the only original cast member that has done
Oh
every
my
single
gosh.
episode. So we've done over 200 episodes, and it takes about 4.5 hours to film one 22-minute episode, and we'd film 2 in a day. So, and we'd do 5 days a week. So there's an awful lot that we would do in the short period of time that we were in studio. And I've just had so many laughs, so many great memories, made some brilliant friends, so many funny things and awful things that have also happened along the way. But it's just been the most incredible experience. And like you said, I've been nominated as Best Presenter because of that show for BAFTA. We actually did win a BAFTA for Best Children's Entertainment Show for it as well a few years ago, which is just awesome to be acknowledged for doing something that not only people in the industry like, but ultimately the things that the audience likes as well. So I get
Yeah.
recognised a lot by children who watch it, and it's great that it's a massive part of their lives. And they're often doing a shipwreck rummage in their own homes where they will get their parents to walk the plank, and they'll hide around the house and get siblings to go and find it. And I think it's great that we can inspire kids to do that.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. And I didn't you kind of you think about it when you're watching it, you think, oh, it's a 20-minute um it's a 20-minute episode, but then you think of all the production behind it, all the things that has to happen in preparation. Um yeah, just but that must be like 5 days a week and did you say doing 2 a day?
2 shows a day, 5 days a week for 3 weeks. We film an entire series.
Oh my gosh. That is awesome though. Like that is yeah, like you said, inspiring kids and then having it just go not only to the audience there, but just all kids around. Well, you inspired me. I know Iris definitely had an iPad and hat at some point. And I honestly thought it was the most awesome thing ever. Me and my sister kind of making the best pirate noise. So that is honestly amazing that you're able to just inspire that many kids and win BAFTA awards for it. That is absolutely terrific. Like it is just look at this set.
I
It's just so fantastic. It's so much fun.
The funny
That
thing
must
is,
be
somebody once pointed out to me that actually, Jem, you were born for this job because the whole premise of the show is about hunting for jewels or hunting for gems. And my name is Gemma Hunt. What?
yeah, exactly. What better name, Gem? Like that is such like a pirate, but just like main character, like just presentable. It's just perfect. It's just like like that person said, born for the role, and you're just so animated doing it, and it's fantastic. And is there something that I mean, you've done 20 years of being in this industry kind of non-stop, which is so, so exciting. But is there something that you haven't had a chance to do yet, but you'd like to do in the future?
Do you know what I would love to do is Saturday night entertainment television. So, like, get Tess Daly off the screen and host Strictly, or get Anton Deck off and do Saturday Night Takeaway. Something fun like that that encourages families to watch TV and engage in special times together and have lots of fun in the process. I think that would be a really cool job.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. To get Anton Deck or something, what Tess Daly just they're also great presenters. And that would be so much fun to have like that connection and get to talk about kind of your experience as well and what you've been up to as well. But like you said, just bringing family together on a Saturday night is something to do. Like, oh, come on, let's all just get together and watch some good fun TV. I know that's something I really like to do with my parents. So maybe in the future I will see you and I'll think, you know what, let's watch Gemma's show. Let's watch Gemma's show. That would be so cool. I'd love that.
Well, hopefully that'll happen.
Yes, yes. I'd love that. I'd honestly, that would be awesome. And so yeah, you said doing about a show. Is there kind of sorry, I've kind of gone blank there. Is there, with your experience of TV and presenting, and obviously it is, although it's so much fun and you get lots out of it, you get to inspire loads of people, have so much fun. Would you say there's a mistake, or what would you say your biggest mistake in this industry has been, and how do you think you could have avoided it, or what do you think you've learned from that?
It's probably more caring too much about what other people think of me. And I think that we all do that. We all want to impress people, or there are certain people that we want to make proud. And there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. But I think that when that becomes all consuming and you sort of forget the reason why you are pursuing the thing that is your heart's desire and the thing that you know that you were made for, then it's hard, because we compromise things then, don't we? And then we realize that we're actually not being fully that person that we were supposed to be. And sometimes I think trying to impress other people is so tiring. It's so exhausting, because you're not being you. And even if we were the best actor ever, you can't keep acting. You just have to be yourself, especially as a presenter. The whole point of being a presenter is just to be an animated caricature of the true you, rather than a different persona, because people want to relate to a person. You want to look at somebody in the eyes and feel seen and feel heard. And that's what you want to do as a presenter. You want to see people or hear people. You are the eyes and the ears of the viewer. So when you're interviewing somebody, you've got to think, well, what does the viewer want to know? But if you're doing all of this and trying to be like somebody else, or trying to impress a particular person, then I think you lose like who you truly are. And I think that for quite a few years, I probably was like that. There was somebody in my life who I was trying to impress the whole time, or trying to please. And actually, it really wasn't healthy for me. And I lost the true me. And so had to sort of step away from that infatuation, from that relationship, and just focus on me again. And when I did that, great opportunities like Swashbuckle came for me, because I was actually me, rather than trying to be somebody that I wasn't meant to be. So I think it's all about being authentic. You just have to be authentic and be true to who you are, and not try to fit a mold that somebody else has created that you think you should fit into. And that's hard, because this industry often does try and create things that we should be in the ways that we should be accepted socially. But I definitely feel like we are feeling more confident and bold to break those molds now. And so I think we just need to do that to be the best version of ourselves.
Absolutely. And it is hard, because obviously sometimes you do have to fit a role. So it's kind of finding that it's hard, because you have to be kind of a character almost to fit a role. You have to kind of like change, but you don't want to actually change yourself when you're going for those auditions. So you don't want to think, oh yeah, I'm going to be really, really like sassy, or like really over the top confident when you go in for audition, because also the people auditioning will kind of see that. Do you think, like, they'll just see right through that you're not being your authentic self? But if you're your authentic kind of maybe bubbly, or like just caring, or like whatever your true self is, if you're being that, then they can see right through that, and they can see that you're not trying to like put on some kind of persona or something, or some kind of mask. So yeah, I think that's really good advice. And it is hard sometimes, because you're thinking, oh, I need to put on this character because this is the role I'm going for. But being your true self means that more opportunities will come to you, because people will see you for who you really are.
Yeah, but to an extent, you do have to play a role. But like you said, it's about whether you can maintain that as well. Because if you go into an audition and you are this character that you think that's what they want, and then maybe they do want that, and then you turn up to do the job and you start off being like that, but then after lunch you're tired, like, I haven't got that anymore. Like, how
Yeah.
that, and then you are having to act, and then that's more exhausting, and then you're just going to deplete yourself. Whereas actually, if you're giving out of your overflow of who you already are, then you should be able to sustain that, and that will be a better performance.
Mm. And it's also like self-care. You say like you said, it gets tiring if you're like too like that. Sometimes you just need to be yourself when you're like offset or you're not auditioning for something. It's just so important to think, actually, you know what? I can stop for a moment. I can just calm down. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's really, really important. And like how did you kind of come back from that? What kind of things did you put in place to kind of put that into practice? Kind of think, you know what, was there kind of like any mental reminders, or how did you kind of slowly come from that?
I went back to my happy place. So I went back to my mum's and stayed at home and saw lots of my old friends, and went back to my old church, where my church community really supported me and just nourished me back to good physical, mental, emotional, spiritual health again. So just put myself around good people, people who knew the real me and were honest with me as well, and really cherished me. And I think that, again, in this business, you can be around people that are just trying to blow smoke up your backside the whole time and just try and overinflate your ego, because you're a commodity to them, because so therefore they need to keep you feeling good about yourself so you continue to do your job well and make money essentially for them. But actually, having people around you that are true and honest is so much more valuable. And I always say that I would much rather, when I do a job, have some constructive criticism from somebody about how I can improve, rather than a whole load of empty praise. Because
Mm,
I mean, maybe that's because I'm not necessarily a words person. Some people like that affirmation, whereas I don't need that. I'd much rather just somebody was honest with me and help me to improve my performance, so that I can be better next time. Because even if you come off something, you've totally smashed it, you can always improve. And so to be that humble that you can say, yeah, I did a really good job, but how can I do this even better next time? And that might be something as simple as, next time I'm not going to stay up till 3 in the morning trying to learn my lines for this. I'm going to just trust myself at 11 p.m. or 10 p.m. that I know it, and let myself sleep so that I'm
yeah.
better prepared. Because sometimes we just panic and we then stay up all night cramming, and then, or then we just toss and turn in bed and we're worrying about it. But actually, there's only so much you can do, and
Yeah.
there's only so much your brain can absorb. And so you have to trust that the preparation that you have put into it, which is always crucial. And often that's the only time that I feel really nervous doing something, is if I'm underprepared, because I don't
Mm,
trust myself. Whereas if I'm prepared, then I just think, well, I can just rock up and do it because I know what I'm doing and I'm confident in that and I know that I've got it within me. But you have to trust that. So that, therefore, you have to put the work into place beforehand. Otherwise, you can get onto stage or into studio and have no idea what you're doing. And that's a really
mm.
scary place to be. And but I've had, like you say, 20 years experience of working a lot in live television. So I've learned a lot of tricks to get myself out of that pickle if I ever find myself in it. But it's not a fun place to be, I can tell you.
Mm. And that's so great. It's sometimes you do just need kind of like a reality check sometimes, because being this industry, like you do get like a lot of people that would be like, oh my gosh, that was so great. And that's like, there's nothing wrong with that. But sometimes it's kind of just nice to go back to home or something, be with your family where you can just kind of relax a bit more. And then maybe get like a few tips from your family and be like, oh my gosh, that was fantastic. But maybe get a good night's sleep beforehand. So yeah, I think that's really, really good. And I've definitely been there. I think we all have kind of, you're rushing the night before and you're thinking, oh, I need to keep doing it and then I can go to bed. But it's actually just put what you're doing down, get some rest. And even if you don't know it as well, you'll probably just be more awake to kind of be a little bit more on it to kind of improvise. So yeah, it's kind of balancing that out, getting a good night rest, being prepared. So that's really great. And with 20 years experience, there has to be, and being on Swashbuckle, which is one of like just a great funny show, what would you say has been the most embarrassing or funny moment you've had with Swashbuckle or just in the industry in your career?
So there was something that happened on Swashbuckle that's just over your left ears. You can see the slide, okay? Or your right ear, the other side. Sorry, there you go. The other side. So you've got the slide
It's
there.
kind of it's cut where I am. I can't actually see it at the moment, but
The
here.
slide is just there. But there's a bar across it that you have to hold on to come down the slide. And I don't know how many hundreds of times I've been down that slide, but on this one occasion, I held onto the bars, came down, just didn't duck far enough, and whacked my head on the bar. And I just thudded my head. And then the West Country girl in me, because I'm from the West Country, was like, oh, I just banged me head. I was like, oh gosh. And then I've got an earpiece in so I can hear the gallery, and they're all saying, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm absolutely fine. And it was just one of those moments, what have I just done? I came down this and whacked my head and just sat there a bit dazed for a minute. So that was, I mean, it was embarrassing, but it was funny embarrassing. I didn't mind that
Yeah.
happening. Other embarrassing,
Oh,
I don't know that there have been many, because I feel like I'm a bit of a control freak, and so I have to make sure that I'm very much in control of myself and what I'm doing. So I won't necessarily let my guard down enough for something to happen where I'm embarrassed, or because I'm just very good at acting on impulse, acting on the spot. I can talk myself out of something very quickly, even if I am embarrassed. I can cover it quite well, even if I am blushing. So I don't anything particularly that I can think of that's been traumatizing. Um, sometimes, I think there was one time, I can't think which band it was. It was a boy band, and I think they had a song that they'd released, and I'd mispronounced the name of the song, and so then they got really funny with me in the rest of the interview. And it wasn't until after the interview that their manager came down and said, "Well, she got the name of the wrong song wrong." It's like, I'm so sorry. Why didn't they correct me? So
yeah.
yeah, I don't
Oh,
know.
that's so frustrating because it's kind of you could have just said, "Oh, it's actually said like this," and then they wouldn't have minded because you would have just said it
Yeah,
again. Oh,
exactly.
that's so frustrating, and you're just like, "Why are they?" And that kind of puts you on edge a bit, and obviously you'd be able to kind of improvise and think, "Okay, I'll just think past this, maybe it's something's going on." But then and then afterwards finding that out, you're like, "That's why." That
Yeah.
must be quite frustrating though. But oh my gosh, banging your head is so did you have to retake that scene?
Yes.
I was gonna say, I'm guessing they didn't have that in there.
No,
I
but
don't
I think if you
remember
search for it somewhere on YouTube, you can probably find the swashbuckle outtakes and watch it for yourself.
Gemma bumps her head, swashbuckles it. Oh, no. But that would, like you just and when you bump your head or something, or you hit your head on something, it's so unexpected, you're so ready to go, and then just what happened, and you're dazed for a second, like you said, you just have to slide down the slide, and oh gosh, no. Were the kids kinda shocked or laughing, or what
No,
do you
I
remember?
I'm not sure if they were actually. I think they just get so caught up in the moment, they probably thought it was part of the plan.
Yeah, just like, "Oh no,
Yeah.
this is the one where Gem hits her head." Oh no. I know. But but like you said, that's really good actually that there hasn't been um well, many embarrassing moments. That's kind of a good thing that you're able to just kind of I don't know, like you said, just improvise and think, actually no, I can come from this. It isn't embarrassing because I can just sort it out. I was actually speaking to someone previously and they said even if something is embarrassing, it's just kind of like moving on from it, or like you said, improvising to kind of get yourself out of a situation.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's brilliant. And my next question is, who would you say, this is particular to the industry, your kind of icon or role model is, if you could have one?
Ooh, um, there are some really great TV presenters, and I think Angelica Bell is somebody who I worked with at CBBC when I first started my career. She was one of the other Black presenters, and so I always really admired her, and we've remained friends. And watching her career go from strength to strength is really inspiring, because I know that she does it all herself, in that she doesn't have an agent or a manager. She self manages, and she has lots of great jobs that she does. And so I think she's really bold and brave and strong and courageous, and does an awful lot for herself, as well as having a husband and two kids. And she's currently renovating a house, and yet she's still managing to keep everything afloat. And so I know it's a juggle, but I really am impressed by how she does that. And I think that I have just grown up watching so many different TV presenters and people that I think have got strengths, but then we've all got our weaknesses as well. So I guess I sort of pick things up from different people like Davina McCall that I watched lots growing up. And who else? I mean, there are so many. I guess most of them have probably come through kids' TV. People like Andy Peters or Philip Schofield or Holly Willoughby, who actually I started off working alongside when I first started working at CBBC. So it is just such a joy to see what goes on in their lives and how things have progressed for them, and obviously the highs and the lows and the pressures and difficulties that come with that. And so I think in a way, I'm just really grateful that I've been able to maintain my career for as long as I have, doing things that I really enjoy and relatively doing it under the radar of the public eye. So I don't feel like I have that pressure. People, like I say, recognize me and it's great and it's fine, but it's not to the extreme that I know lots of people have. And I think that's sort of a byproduct of the job that we have, that people feel they have some sort of ownership over us and therefore they are entitled to know about our private lives. But I've chosen to keep my private life very personal, and my personal things are private. So apart from, like you mentioned, my book, I've got a copy of my latest one here. This is the first sort of time that I outed myself as a mom, because my daughter is in the book and she's one of the characters in here. But apart from that, I wouldn't put anything on socials about us as a family, because that's just personal stuff. It's private. And other people choose to, and that's absolutely fine. But again, I know that Angelica doesn't do that. I know that Holly doesn't do that with her family. And so I think it's really good that people do, to an extent, respect that. And we also don't want to exploit our children, because they're their own people and we don't want to thrust them into the limelight just because we're in it. But I'm grateful that I've had a chance to do it in a literary way. I think it's really great that I can have some beautiful illustrations that I can share with other people about my family life.
Yeah, no, that's lovely. And like you said, people like Holly Willoughby, and there's been so many great presenters, but that's really interesting actually, that you like them kind of keep, it's nice to keep family life private. Sometimes it's like, just because I'm a presenter or kind of I've done these different roles doesn't mean I have to share my whole entire life and everything that's going on with the world. And it is kind of easy to do that with the media. Think, because I'm on social media means I have to post every single thing that's going on. Sometimes it's nice to just keep some things concealed, because it means when you come back, like you were saying before, when you come back to your family life, it can kind of be like, okay, it doesn't mean I have to keep filming now or kind of like putting on a brave face. Sometimes that's really nice. And it's lovely that you're able to, like you said, put your family through, like your daughter, into your book. That's so lovely, and that's a really lovely way to do it. And you can kind of read it to her, and kind of and it's nice that, like you said, because it is really hard sometimes for actors or people part of the creative industry kind of getting noticed all the time. So like you said, feeling like the public has some kind of like ownership over you because you put yourself in the limelight. It doesn't mean that they can be like, oh, I need to know every single thing. So that is really nice actually, that you've been able to kind of be a little bit under the radar, like people will notice you, but it's nice that you've been able to kind of have that. That's really, really good. And lastly, what would you say your top 3 tips for young performers from a perspective as a TV presenter or an actor is?
I think you need to have your A game whenever you can. So keep on top of your craft, whether that means continuing to train in it. So continuing to take dance classes or take acting classes or take some sort of presenting classes, or give yourself experience in those areas so you can keep honing your skills and making them stronger and making them better so that you can be the best version of you. I think that's one. I think another one is to ensure that you've got a good support network of cheerleaders around you, people to pick you up when you fall down, people to celebrate with you, people that aren't after anything from you, but just love you because of who you are, and people that can share your success and be proud of you. And the other thing is, I think you also need to have a plan B. So my third point would be have a plan B. And yes, I think it's good to create something that is your dream, your heart's desire in terms of a career, and aim towards that. But if, God forbid, something happens that means you then can't pursue that anymore, you still need to sustain your life financially in some way. So to have a plan B, and that could be using the skills that you have to teach rather than to perform. Or it could be like my plan B is that with all the years of experience of working with children and in entertainment, I would love to set up my own kind of stay and play centre where kids can come along for a couple of hours in the morning or in the afternoon, and we can have fun, we can bake together, we can paint together. I'd lead storytelling sessions, we'd go and grow veggies outside together, we'd look after animals together, we'd learn about animals, and just all the things that sometimes we take for granted, those of us that live in the countryside. Because when I lived in London, I noticed that lots of children didn't have gardens and didn't have pets, so therefore didn't know how to look after them or know how to grow veggies. And so to be able to educate children about where their food comes from and give them experiences and how to produce it, and then how to cultivate it, and then how to create meals with it, and that's setting people up with life skills. And not all parents have the time or the ability or the inclination to do that with their kids. So to have a centre where kids could then come to me or come to us, and we could spend a couple of hours doing all this fun stuff together, like that would be awesome, because that would be me learning about or sharing about what I know about children and helping them to learn things for themselves, but also hosting it, and therefore it's presenting. So it's kind of still presenting, but doing it on a more one-to-one basis. So yeah, I think you need to look after yourself, you need to have good cheerleaders, and you need to have a plan B.
Oh my gosh, I really want to come. If you ever set up this plan B, please, I'd love to learn how to. I've done a bit of gardening, but oh my gosh, that sounds amazing. Doing kind of like you said, because a lot of being in the city, a lot of people don't know how to grow their own vegetables or things or look after pets. So that would be a lovely opportunity for so many kids to learn a range of skills, just have fun. And like you said, you've got so much experience with kids, so you'd come up with, I'm sure you'd have lots of other people that would love to be a part of that and kind of have all these different ideas and help loads of kids. But yeah, 3 really, really important tips, and having cheerleaders as well, that support network. And I've heard a lot of people say about having kind of something to fall back on and having that kind of bulletproof lifestyle, that even if you don't have a role or things don't go your way, you still have other interests, you still have that kind of background where you can fall back on and think, you know what, I can do something else. Maybe it's not totally ideal, but then you can kind of pick up from that, and maybe it's something that you do still really enjoy. So
Yeah.
great. Thank you so much, Gemma, for joining me. It's been brilliant talking to you, and I've got to speak to Pirate Gem. It's just been awesome. I love it. I love it. But thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me. It was really fun chatting.
It's been brilliant, and I hope you have I hope in the future or whatever you've got coming up next goes really well.
Thank you so much. You too.
Thank you. And thank you so much for listening. Join me next time for another episode of On Airs.